Hi, welcome back to Marc's AI Avatar. Well, things I wish I knew before I started out. When I started out, theatre, then film, then TV, I thought there was one path. Get the job, climb the ladder, stay in your lane. Nobody told me the truth. There is no ladder. There is no spoon. There's a portfolio. Director 1 month, mentor the next, running a studio the month after that. 30 plus years in, and I'm still building it. Animation, live action, consulting, community work, all at once, all connected, everything all at once. Here's the thing, I really wish someone had said to me at, say, 16, failing isn't the opposite of succeeding. It's part of it. I call it failing forwards. Every knockback, every project that didn't land, that's not the end of the road. That's data. It's how you learn what you're actually building toward. That's why I go into schools, because as a kid, they can't be what they can't see. If nobody in the room looks like you, sounds like you, thinks like you, it's easy to believe the industry isn't for you. I want pupils, parents and teachers all hearing the same message. The creative industries are wider, weirder and more open than anyone tells you. Don't let anyone else's limits become your ceiling. Try things. Fail forwards. Build your own portfolio your own way. Acta non verba. Deeds, not words. Just go and do it. And on that note, here is Sam Hornsby from the app Eric. She's the co-founder of this. I'll let her explain.
Thanks so much, Marc, and great to be here in your weird world of AI avatars. And hello, Norman, good boy. Before we start, can we change our background quickly, please? That's better. Right, let's begin. Hi everyone, I'm Sam. I'm one of the co-founders of Eric. I am going to be talking to you today about careers in the creative industries, which I think is what you're all here to hear about. So that's good news. So first of all, what is Eric? Eric is a free to use creative careers app for people that want to get a career in the creative industries. So if you are looking for things that can help you build skills, experience, confidence in order to be able to get into the creative industries, this is the app that you need to be downloading. It's free for young people. It's free for schools to use on behalf of their students. There are literally thousands of opportunities on this app that can help you get a foot in the door of all the creative industries. And we will get on to what those creative industries are in a second. But that is what you can do. There will be a link to download at the end as well. So feel free to get your phones out and scan the QR code when it comes up. So, okay, we're going to start with what are the creative industries. As I said, we cover the creative industries on the Eric app. So which industries are we talking about? We are talking about these ones. There are 16 creative industries. Let me get out of the way of that. So that is all the classics like fashion, music, art, the ones that you already know exist, but then also it includes other major player industries that you may not classify as part of the creative industries yet, because it doesn't scream creative industries to you. But that are things like games, we've got VFX and animation there, we've got advertising, marketing and PR. These often are forgotten or forgotten off the list of the creative industries, but they are very much part of the creative world. So here we go, there's your definitive list of 16 different industries. And then it also might be useful to know how these are divided into subsectors as well, because you will have heard the term, for example, the arts quite often, and often that is mistaken for being a term to refer to the creative industries. That's actually a subsector of the creative industries. So you can see that here, arts and heritage go together. That includes industries like arts and craft, architecture, all of that. The reason that these are grouped into these subsectors is because they often share workforces. So people in these industries sometimes flit in between these different kind of in the subsectors, they flip between the different industries because lots of the skills are transferable. And then under all of these, you have this term CreateTech, which is a pretty new term. This is the fusion of creativity and technology. So a really classic example of this would be a company like Spotify, very much, there it is, sorry, it's like opposite on my screen. Very much part of the creative industries. It's a music company, but it is also a tech company, and it has transformed the face of the music industry as well. So you will know thousands, well, at least hundreds of CreateTech companies that you will use on an everyday basis as a consumer. But there are also thousands of CreateTech companies that operate behind the scenes that you will never have heard of before, because they are very much in the background making things happen, not in front of the consumer. So for example, Move AI is a company that is part of the VFX and animation industry. It's one of the biggest companies in the space that they're in. You will never have heard of them, but what they do is they make kind of CGI animation stuff in front of a green screen and things like that. So there we go. That's a really good example of a CreateTech business that you won't have heard of. The reason I'm making such a big fuss of CreateTech is because it is a massive part of the creative industries now. Every single creative industry has a CreateTech section to it. It's often abbreviated into a shorter term. So for example, art tech is a tech part of the art world. You've got, music tech, you've got ad tech, which is advertising and technology, that fusion. So if you go and Google some of those hybrid terms, you'll find whole new worlds of the creative industries that you didn't know existed. And there are so many jobs in that sector as well, in this CreateTech area. And that brings me on to the fact that people often think that the creative industries is just artists, singers, and actors. It is not. It is so much bigger than that. You have thousands, millions of jobs in the creative industries that you never hear about. So there are actually 2.4 million people working in the creative industries. As you can imagine, not all of them are singers, actors, and dancers or whatever. There are literally millions of people behind the scenes making things happen. And you only get to see a fraction of the people on screen, front of house. For every one person working visibly, there are hundreds of people who are completely invisible, who you never kind of see behind the scenes. So bear that in mind, because that means that 1 in 11 jobs in the UK are classified as part of the creative industries. If you didn't know how many people are working behind the scenes, that number would shock you. But yeah, hopefully now you know that there are loads of people working, doing stuff that you don't know exists. And so that is kind of part of our job at Eric, to make sure that you are aware of all of these varieties of jobs that you can do that require so many different types of people to be able to, with different skill sets, to be able to operate these jobs. So I'm going to talk really quickly about the creative jobs in the non-creative world as well. So there are 1 million people. So to clarify, to recap, 2.4 million people working in the creative industries. There are a further 1 million people doing creative jobs in the non-creative industries. Here are some examples of the kinds of jobs, creative jobs, that you can do in any company, regardless of whether it's part of the creative industries or not. Design. Every single company has to have a website now, regardless of what industry it's part of, and someone has to make the design of that website. So that is a really good example of the fact that you can be a designer for any type of industry. And here are some more examples. And then vice versa, there are loads of non-creative jobs in the creative industries. For example, accountants, lawyers, even medical doctors, they are all part of the creative industries. There are definitely jobs for everyone, no matter what specialism, like non-creative specialism, you are doing. And then also to further that point, there are loads of blended creative industries as well. So here's a list of the 16 creative industries on both sides. And then there's just lines going to and from each one. Every industry has to work with other industries in order to be able to, I guess, make it happen. The creative industries is known for being incredibly blended at its core. So for example, if you are a designer, you can be a designer in the fashion industry, or you can be a designer in the games industry, or designer in publishing. All of these industries work very much in tandem with each other. So don't feel like you have to choose one industry and stick to that one industry. You can actually merge 2 or 3 or 4, however many passions you want to be able to merge, and create your own niche. So yeah, hopefully by this point, you know that every young person studying any subjects at school or university has a place in the creative industries. If you aren't studying anything creative, doesn't matter. You can absolutely get into the creative industries. I'm not discounting from people who are going to study the creative industries or creative subjects at school or uni. That just means you've got a bit more of a clear path as to how you can get in, and you'll get a bit more guidance as to where you can go to get support and get a foot in the door. So either way, you're absolutely welcome in the creative industries, and there are literally millions of jobs available, guys. So I'm going to talk really quickly about employment skills in the future, because I've only got 15 minutes and we're already 8 minutes in. So here are some different ways that you can get into the creative industries. You can go to university. If you are doing that, I definitely recommend choosing a university that has direct links with industry and has lecturers that have actually been part of the creative industries. They will have great real world experience. I highly recommend that. You can be an apprentice. If you are going to be an apprentice, I also recommend you being part of an apprentice scheme at a bigger organisation, because they tend to be a bit more organised than the startup culture. So you'll probably be in line with a wider cohort of people as well, and you'll be doing networking at the same time. There are lots of creative specialist providers as well. So go and have a look at, I think it's Creative Alliance is one of them that we always recommend. So go and have a look at them, but they have lots of different apprenticeships available for people that want to get into the creative industries. If you are going straight into work, soft skills are very important. We will get onto a list of soft skills in a second. And also, I would always recommend that is a good, startups is a good area to go into if you are going to go straight to work, because you will be doing so many different jobs all at once. Very dynamic environment, very exciting, always something to do. You will learn so much at speed. You really get thrown into the deep end. So if you are really good at learning on the job, if you thrive in a dynamic environment, then that is a world that you need to go into. And then being self-employed, if you just want to get going straight away and you don't want to work for anyone else, you just want to start getting clients, you're ready to just kind of like go in, then again, you need to be good at learning on the job, self-teaching. There are so many online resources that you can get access to. Obviously, you can get access to them on the ERIC app. So go download the ERIC app and you'll find, hundreds, thousands of free courses that you can do. But then also, I highly recommend sales and marketing is so important, underrated skill in the creative industry. So definitely start doing some courses on sales and marketing, because that will help you stand out from the crowd. Some soft skills. We work with hundreds of creative employers across all the different creative industries. These are 4 things that we constantly hear when it comes to employers looking for soft skills, and then equally hard skills. There we go. So Excel, Google Drive, presentation skills. That doesn't mean being able to give a presentation. It just means being able to design something nice, clear communication, that kind of stuff. Industry tools, make sure that you're up to date on all the industry tools that you will need to know about, and then industry news as well. Not subscribe, but sign up to any newsletters of any industry publications that you can get hold of. Here, what are employers saying? So 3 things that we are hearing from employers about their change of behavior and how it might affect you if you're applying to a role. CVs are not the be all end all anymore. We are seeing an increasing amount of employers who are using alternative methods for hiring. So for example, a company called Publicis that we know, they are one of, in the advertising industry, they are using a kind of game. They're making people play games so that they can test their natural ability for, what their skills are, all of that kind of stuff. And then they basically recommend a job that is most suited to your skill set. So that is a really interesting, new, innovative way of hiring. It's proving very successful. Lots of other companies are adopting it as well. They're prioritizing practical and technical skills over theory learning. So if you are going to uni, make sure that you are getting as much practical and technical on-hands experience as you possibly can, because learning about theory in a lecture theatre or a classroom is no longer just, I guess, kind of good enough. And then it's also important for students to be intentional. So make sure that you are learning with intention, that you know exactly what you're not learning for the sake of it. You're not just going into anything for the sake of it. You have a really clear idea of what skill you want to get out of whatever you're learning. Resources. Okay, so that is the end of the employer section. Resources and ERIC app info. I have 4 links here of places where you can, let me just quickly get my notes up, how to find local employers, how to keep up to date with industry news, and how to find local creativity hubs so that you can go out and start networking. Go and explore those links. These slides will be sent to you all afterwards, I'm sure. But yes, so you could just click on those links when you get the slides. But those are my top tips. Follow me on LinkedIn if you would like to. Please do connect with me. I am always talking about the creative industries, what's latest in the hiring space. I love to champion interesting creative careers reports as well that I get access to that you guys probably won't be aware exist. Lots of people send me stuff, and therefore I kind of talk about the things that I think are most impactful. So hopefully that'll be hopefully that'll be useful to you. And then finally, download the Eric app. Guys, I cannot tell you enough about how useful this will be to you as a tool. It is free. Everything on it is free. It's free for schools, it's free for parents, it's free for students, obviously. So we have literally thousands of things on there that can help you get into the creative industries, training schemes, mentoring schemes, other programs. We've got competitions, grants, we've got entry-level jobs, internships, apprenticeships, everything that you could possibly need to help, I guess, gain skills, experience, confidence to get your foot in the door of the creative industries. This is where you can find all of that. We spend all of our days scouting the internet for all of the stuff that's out there, spread far and wide, that would otherwise take you weeks to find, and we gather it all onto this app so you don't have to do any searching on the internet anymore. We've literally done it all for you, and you can browse incredibly easily everything that is out there. It is updated daily. We have dozens of opportunities going live every single day. It is for people all across the UK. I really hope that this is useful to you, because we literally designed it for young people who were struggling to access things that they should be accessing. And yeah, that's it from me, guys. I hope that's been useful.
Well, thank you very much for that, Sam. It was very helpful. Although I must say, I find it difficult to break into the creative industries.
How do you mean, Norman?
Well, I am a dog. A good dog, but a dog nonetheless.
Well, actually, the creative industries do use dogs, you know. Guide dogs, dog wranglers, casting dogs, stunt dogs even.
Oh, well, I better fire my agent and get cracking. Thanks again, Sam. I am always up for walkies.
Walkies, Norman. That's good to know. Thanks again for having me on. Now, what's all this I hear about you and squirrels?
I don't like squirrels, although to be fair, I don't actually understand what a squirrel actually is. Like a bushy-tailed small cat, or this...
A few moments later.
And I am a good office dog.
Yes, you are, Norman.